Welcome to Safety Day. This is one of our most notoriously fun days in the Unit 1 Intro to Chemistry. So we all decided to get together and show you what to do and maybe what not to do when you come back to the chemistry classroom.
Let's get to it.
Yeah.
Right.
Hello, everybody. This is our video for chemistry on Monday, August 24th. Today, our topic is safety. So I'm going to go through some slides here. I want you to take good note of what I'm going to show you. So if you note here at the top, it says be sure to note the additions in red. These are the particularly important things. All these rules, especially the things I highlight here, could be a topic on your quiz for Friday. So please pay close attention as we go through here. Now, it may seem a little premature to be doing this because we're not in chemistry class right now, but should we come back, I want you guys to have been exposed to this so we can hit the ground running. All right, rule number one. I don't want you eating any candy or food or drinks in our chemistry classroom. This is for your own safety, right? If you think about it, we have multiple classes in here during the day. There's not always a lot of time to do a lot of cleanup in between those classes. These counters and tables and lab spaces may be contaminated with chemicals. Please, please, please do not bring any food in here. You get it on your hands, you get that into your mouth. Besides not tasting good, it may not be too good for you. So please, no food or beverage or anything in the classroom. And the second point there, please don't drink out of the laboratory glassware. Very important.
This chocolate tastes sour.
Acids are notoriously sour.
Oh, I should probably wash that down. Whoa, are you drinking my hydrochloric acid? Oof. Rule number one, you should not consume any foods in the laboratory. And for the record, this is a beaker we only use for food only. I would never actually drink out of a beaker, even for a demo video.
Rule number two, safety equipment in this classroom includes goggles and aprons. Goggles and aprons. Now, consider that standard safety equipment. If we're doing a lab, I want you to have both of those on. If we don't need them, I will tell you up front, right? So there will be several labs where we do not need the aprons, and I'll tell you don't need them today. But unless I tell you otherwise, assume that you do need to wear your apron. Now, goggles, we will probably almost always wear our goggles because we want to protect your eyes. Your eyes are very important. We don't want anything bad to happen to them.
All right, we're talking about rule number two here and about why it's important to wear safety glasses to protect your eyes. So here we got a nice little picture of an eye. Now you know why I'm a chemistry teacher and not an art teacher. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this little plate over it. Now, the egg is very similar to your eye. The proteins in an egg are very similar to the proteins in your eye. So if you think about this, if I take this egg and crack it open in here, you got that yellow part here. It kind of mimics the black part of your eye, and the white part, right? That's more like the white of your eye as well, just like that. Now, if you happen to be not being very careful, here I have some HCl, and you get some of this and you splatter it on your eye, watch what happens. Just one drop. Look what happens to the white of the eye. It's cooking the white of your eye. You might even be able to see the steam coming off of this, right? So hydrochloric acid, look at how quickly it is cooking the eye. Now, one thing to think about here, this is an egg. Have you ever seen an egg go back from being cooked to uncooked? No! Neither can your eye. Once you've damaged your eye like this, it'll be like this for the rest of your life. Please wear your safety goggles.
Point three, long hair should be tied back. Any loose clothing should be secured. You don't want anything that is going to fall forwards when you're working at your lab or as you're moving your arms around, anything that could possibly get inside a Bunsen burner flame. Not good. So what do we mean by long? We mean if you lean forwards, if your clothing or your hair falls forwards, it is considered long for the purposes of chemistry class. Again, this is a safety issue. If you lean forward and if your hair or your clothing falls forward, it is considered long. It needs to be tied back or secured.
Rule number three, if you lean forward and it falls forward, you have long hair. Oh.
Point 4, if you see a fire in the classroom, first attempt to smother the fire. Throw a rag on it, throw some notebook, something solid to put it out. If it gets out of control, if it's bigger than what you think you can do very quickly to smother it, get my attention. Don't just sit there and go, Dr. Yates, yell, get my attention. Dr. Yates, yell it really loud. I need to know. And then I will get the fire extinguisher and put it out. Inform me immediately.
Now I want to demonstrate rule number 4. So I have a little bit of a flammable chemical here. I'm going to pour a little bit of it on my desk. Get the flammable chemical far away. And let's see. What happens if we get this lit? I just got to find my match. Okay, we'll do it this way. So, Ms. Bay, what would you do if we had a fire in the classroom?
I'd probably get out my phone and take a video for TikTok.
Mr. Pilcher.
I would panic and email my mom.
That's a little bit better. As a teacher, I'm going to put it out.
Rule number 5, in the case of burns, I want you to wash the affected area with cold water as soon as possible. Now, my slide here is incorrect. We do not want to use ice. Just we'll use cold water to wash that burned area off as soon as possible. Now, what do I mean by burn? We're going to define burn for the purposes of chemistry class as cell death. That's right, you're killing your cells when you get a burn. So we want to be careful. We don't want to get burned. Now, there are 2 ways to get a burn. It could be a thermal burn, something from heat, or it could be a chemical burn, something due to a chemical reaction. All right.
Ouch.
Ooh, looks like you got a burn there.
What's a burn?
Cell death.
But because I burnt myself on something hot, is this a thermal burn?
You betcha.
What should I do?
You need to rinse with cold water vigorously.
Point number 6. Be careful if you get any acids or any chemicals on your body. You may not notice that for right away. You might notice the burning sensation right away. It might take 1 to 3 hours. So you might be in chemistry with me in the morning, and then later on that afternoon, you're like, oh, wow, why is my arm itchy? And you look at it, and it's got red spots. It's real itchy. As soon as you notice that, run cold water over that. Let's get that chemical off you. Better yet, if you think you've gotten a chemical on you, wash it off with cold water right away. Don't wait until your arm starts to itch and burn.
Ooh, jeez.
Mr. Pilcher, ever since chemistry class this morning, my arm's been itching like crazy.
Huh. Red and itchy, that's a sign of a burn.
A burn? I thought you had to have heat, like from a Bunsen burner to get a burn.
Well, Billy, there are 2 types of burn, thermal and chemical.
Oh, no. Well, what should I do?
You need to wash with cold water, Billy.
Okay, so point 7. I want you to know the locations and operating procedures of some of the safety equipment in our classroom. We have eye wash stations to protect your eyes. We have a safety shower if you get chemicals on your clothes or on your body. We have fire extinguishers. We have a fume hood. Fume hood is where we will do chemical reactions where a gas would be released, and then the fume hood will pull those gases away and outside so they don't sit in the classroom and cause us problems. And finally, we have a whole classroom ventilation system. And this fan is capable of replacing all the air in the room in less than 6 minutes.
This is the classroom fume hood. There will be a few times this year where we will be generating gases that should not be breathed, for instance, chlorine. And what we'll do is we will do the experiment inside of this fume hood, and we will close the door and we will turn the fan on. Now, any gases that are generated inside of here will be pumped out and out the roof of the building. The other thing we have is called the classroom ventilation system. When you flip that fan on, there is a vent in our classroom, and the air will be replaced within the entire classroom in 6 minutes.
This is the classroom fire extinguisher. They're usually towards the front of the room. Your teacher is the only person who will ever need to use this.
This is the safety shower. If you get chemicals spilled on you, we're going to need to run you over here and get those chemicals rinsed off of you. It is fast. Right beneath our safety shower is our eye wash station. If you ever get anything in your eyes, we need to run you over here, and we're going to have to run water on your eyes for 20 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Oh. Woo. I feel safe.
Our point number 8. Perform only those experiments that have been authorized by your teacher. Right? Don't make things up. Don't try doubling this or taking half of that. Do the experiment exactly like we've shown you in the procedure in exactly that sequence. Doing anything different could cause a problem.
It's cool if I double this, right, Miss Bay?
No.
What? Rule number 8. Never do any unauthorized experiments in the laboratory.
Rule number 9. Do not sit on counters. Right? We were talking earlier. They may be dirty. They may have some chemicals. You might get some holes in your jeans where you really don't want to have some holes.
Mr. Pilcher, what are you doing sitting on the desk?
Breaking rule number 9.
Rule number 10, dispose of all laboratory waste properly. So broken glassware, we do have a broken glassware bucket. It'll be in the back of the room. It's a big white bucket and it's labeled broken glass. We put broken glassware in the bucket. Why? Well, think about it for a moment. It's for the safety of others, right? So if our janitor is coming in here and taking out the trash, we don't want your janitor to get hurt, accidentally cut, because it's not expecting to find glass in it. Now, also, if it's a solid waste, so if it's broken glass, we put it in the broken glassware bucket. If it's solid waste, more often than not, we're going to put it in the trash. If it's not something you put in the trash, I will tell you ahead of time. But I assume solids can be disposed of in the trash can. For liquid waste, these can usually be poured down the sink, right? If that's not be appropriate, I will tell you when the difference is, and we'll dispose of them in another way. But solids in the trash, liquids in the sink, unless I tell you otherwise.
Oh, Billy! Oh no! Miss Bay is going to kill us. No, don't!
Never put broken glassware in the trash. Put the broken glassware in the broken glassware bucket and allow your teacher to clean it up. Dr. Yates, I'm done with this experiment. Can I put this solid in the trash can?
That solid you can put in the trash can. Normally solids go into a trash can unless your teacher tells you otherwise.
How about these liquids? Can these both go down the sink?
No. This one can go down the sink. The other one we need to dispose of in our fume hood. Very good, Jane.
Rule number 11, I want you to read the labels on our chemicals. This is very, very important. Sometimes the bottles look alike and the chemicals could have very, very different properties, and this could be very dangerous.
And so now let's talk about rule number 11. Read the labels. So earlier I lit my desk on fire and I used this chemical. If you look on the side of this chemical, there's a little box here that says flammability. This one has a flammability of 3. But what if I wasn't paying too much attention? These two bottles look very similar to each other. This bottle, though, where it says flammability, it says 4. Guess what, folks? That's the highest number you can get, 4. Nasty stuff. So what would happen if I accidentally put this on my desk? Let me get all this other stuff out of the way. So let's see what happens if I would spill 10, let's make it 20. 20 milliliters of this stuff on my desk. Let's make sure I get this out of the way as well. I want to show you the difference between a flammability of 3 and a flammability of 4. Here we go. Get that away. Now I'm going to stand far away because this is flammable. Thanks, Mr. Pilcher. And there you go. Flammability 4, people. Read your labels.
Rule number 12. I want you to keep your hands away from your eyes, your face, your mouth, the rest of your body while you're performing chemistry experiments. It's too easy to get some of those chemicals on your hands, and then you don't want to get, your hands are tough. Think about your eyes, they're very sensitive, your face, very sensitive. You don't want to be rubbing that and causing a problem. Wash your hands with soap and water after performing all experiments. Please don't leave chemistry without washing your hands. Don't want you to have a problem.
Whew. Oh. Rule number 12. Keep your hands away from your face, eyes, mouth, and body.
Rule number 13. Notify your teacher in case of glassware breakage or faulty equipment. In other words, if there's something that's dangerous, something's not working right, something's broken, let me know.
And hey, did you hear a leak?
I don't know, but I don't think this beaker works.
Whoa!
Mr.
Mr.
Pilcher!
Yes, what's the matter?
I think this hose is not working right. I can hear a leak.
My beaker's broken.
Well, as you know, Rule 13 says, always report faulty equipment to your teacher.
Rule number 14. There's a prep area through the windows behind me. Students are not allowed in. They're not allowed into that prep area unless I give you specific permission. That, again, is for your safety. I might have things back there that are not safe for you, and I don't want anybody to get hurt. Rule number 15, I want people who wear contacts, just something to be considered. I'm not going to tell you you can't wear them, because I understand you need them to see, but you guys have an extra risk involved with contacts, and I want you to understand that, and then you can make your judgment accordingly.
Now, rule number 15, when we're talking about contact lenses, here's a quick little demo of why it's important, or what you need to be concerned with, the risk of wearing contact lenses. Now, okay, so you've got a picture of our eye, and of course our eye it's always wet and moist. I got a little bit of water on there. And now I'm going to put a contact on my eye. Now, I don't wear contacts, so I'm not totally sure how you put it on, but I'm assuming you got to put it on hard enough that it's going to stick. Yeah, there we go, just like that, to make sure it's in there nice and sticky. And now let's say you're not wearing your eye protection, or even if you are, you got to be careful because fumes can get in through some of the goggles. What happens if you get a little splash of something into your eye? Now, if you look at this, hopefully you can see where that red, where I dropped it in, the contact lens is kind of pulling that red into the eye. That's not what you want. That contact lens is not protecting your eye anymore. It's now trapping that chemical between your eye and the contact lens, and it's making the burn even worse. Don't do it. Especially don't sit there and start rubbing it around. My eye itches. I'm going to rub it around. Now look what happened. You just spread it all over your eyeball. Don't do it. If you feel your eye starting to be irritated and you wear contact lenses, get them out.
Rule number 16, report all accidents to the teacher. Right? If something goes wrong, let me know right away. I'm not asking you to do this to get you in trouble. I'm asking you to do this so I can make sure you're safe, right? We get you the appropriate care and attention, medical attention that you might need. So please notify me right away. Rule number 17, how do we waft? So what I mean by wafting is if we're smelling some chemicals and they might be dangerous, there are 3 steps I want you to take as you smell those chemicals. First step for wafting, hold the beaker or whatever you're smelling at least 12 inches away, right? Then I want you to close your eyes. Whether you're wearing goggles or not, I want you to close your eyes. Right? Goggles are great for keeping splashes from getting in your eyes, but they're not going to stop vapors or gas from getting in your eyes. Close your eyes when you're doing this. And finally, the third, you're going to make a wafting motion or kind of a waving motion with your hand to kind of move those vapors towards your nose so you can smell it safely.
Rules for wafting. Rule 1, 12 inches away.
Rule 2, close your eyes.
Rule 3, waft.
Oh, that's a wonderful aroma.
Ode to pasture. Rule number 18, never leave a lit Bunsen burner unattended. Right? Never leave it unattended. It's too easy to cause a problem. Either something gets in its way or another lab team comes by and is not paying attention, and they accidentally bump into a lit gas burner or Bunsen burner. Don't do it. All right.
Hey, Johnny, will you mind watching the flame while I go get the rest of our chemicals?
Yeah, no problem. I got it.
Cool.
Thanks. Oh, is this Stacy? Oh, yeah, I got time to talk.
Where did everyone go?
What's that, Stacy? Rule number 18. Never, ever leave a Bunsen burner unattended while it is lit.
Number 19, do not point the open end of a test tube at yourself or anyone else. Just think about it.
Hey, Dr. Yates,
Yes, Ms. Bay.
remember when you walked through my video in the back? When I was
One
recording?
Whoa. Rule number 19. Don't ever point the open end of a test tube at yourself or someone else.
Rule number 20. Now, hot and cold glass has the same visual appearance, so I want you to be careful. Right? You can't tell by looking at it whether it's hot or cold. So let's be smart, be safe, use the appropriate equipment, assume it's hot unless you know otherwise. All right. Rule number 21, don't put hot glassware into cold water. What do you think is going to happen? They call it heat shock. It's going to shatter. Glass can't take that quick change in temperature. So if it's hot, don't put it in the cold water. Wait for it to cool down first.
Hey, Mr. Pilcher, can you grab this glass?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Oh! Rule 20, hot and cold glass look the same.
I guess I can just cool it down over here then.
Wait a minute, Ms. Bay. Don't put that hot beaker in cold water.
Rule 21, do not cool down a hot piece of glassware with cold water. It will shock and shatter.
Rule number 22, now when you're all done with the lab, please clean your work area after your group is finished. Items that are hot, you can leave out, let them to cool, but let's put everything else away. Again, this is to be considerate of the people who are coming into the next class after you, that they can start with a clean workplace and they don't walk in and see a puddle on the work area and think, oh, it's just water, and you've left some hydrochloric acid on there, and they go to wipe it off and they get seriously hurt. Please make sure that your lab station is clean. I do not have time to clean lab stations in between classes. You need to be responsible and make care of not only yourself and your partners, but the people that are going to follow in the next class. And finally, number 23, we had a lot of fun making the videos for this today, but we were very careful. We know what we're doing. We're not screwing around. We just made it look that way just to try to keep you guys engaged. But science, safety is a very serious thing. I don't want to see any playing around during our experiments. That's not going to be tolerated. I don't want you to get hurt. I don't want others to get hurt. Now, I'd hate to have to do something more severe, like asking you to leave the lab because you're not being safe. All right. Well, hopefully these rules were fun, and you can see that we take safety seriously here in chemistry class. I want to make sure everybody stays safe. Take care, everybody.